Hello, Vicar. In the battle of the giraffe-legged sport tourers, leave it to BMW to take it a little too far. 170 horses, 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, and 5.9 inches of suspension travel. You know, it's so funny. With these sport tours that happen to be tall, they're all about 18 to 20,000 bucks, depending on what you get on them. They all got about 6 inches of suspension travel. The horsepower, that's where they're a little different. 170 horses on this, with a top speed of 170 miles an hour. Ouch. All right, so what I like is, you get a key fob, boom, turn that on, pops right up. Now, what I like about this is, yes, just like the R1200, R1250, just like BMW menu toggle system on this thing. Or if you want to just jump right to shocks, there's your shock button. Boom, jump right to it, okay? If you want to set your mode fast, mode button, boom, dynamic. Hit it again, dynamic pro. Hit it again, rain mode. Hit it again, road. So you can fast switch to anything you want. We're going to leave it in dynamic modes for taking it on the highway. There's your heated grip button. There's your cruise control. Everything just makes sense. Your usual windy fare in Missouri. We just had a few tornadoes actually blow through the city last week, so we're going to take it up on that windy highway and see how it does. It's just under 500 pounds wet. And very, very dynamic suspension. Although the Versys does have the adjustable show of forks, which is actually very cool on that system too. And I do love the Versys. I had one. I'm a big fan. There's just something a little next level going on here. All right, you got a 120 on the front. You got a big fat 190 on the back. All right, let's see what we got here. We're gonna stand up on the pegs, take it through the gravel here. They pack so much tech into this bike. Dynamic mode, dynamic pro mode. There is so much to talk about on this thing that, you know, it's hard to kind of do it all in one video. The more I was reading about it, the more I was actually kind of falling in love with it. And that motor, as soon as it comes to life, sounds like it wants to throat punch a nun. Alright, that's as high as that goes. That would be an issue, I think, if you're touring. To be honest with you, I think you'd want something that goes at least to there, but it is what it is. Alright, stand up on the pegs. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, this thing feels great. I think it's more designed for road than gravel, but it feels good. Standing up feels good. This has a quick shifter, by the way. Slipper clutch, quick shifter. Oh, it's still flashing. No, big quit. Yes, self-canceling turn signals. Just like my Austin. Okay, third gear's got stupid pull. Yeah, I'm kind of a fan. You can tell when I knew when I started it up and it started cursing at me in engine language. I knew right then this thing's not to be trifled with. Give it some love. This thing is packed with so much technology. BMW has the integrated ABS system. It's linked into the different ride modes. So, but between that, the dynamic traction control, the dynamic ESA, dynamic brake control, dynamic engine brake control, it really does help you control this thing. As I was coming down the highway on the other side, I hit it. Went really fast. 6th gear had super good torque, and I noticed that even though it's a windy day, this bike was really well planted, and this bike is under 500 pounds, so that is quite a testament to the aerodynamics. So you've got a 999cc inline 4 producing 170 horses at 11,000 RPMs. That's pretty much right at the red line. 84 foot-pounds of torque at 9,200 RPMs. It's an inline 4, dual overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, and this thing just absolutely rocks. This bike very much reminded me of the Suzuki GSX S1000 GX, the tall sport tourer they've got. You can watch that video on TG MotoRider if you like. But this bike has 20 more horsepower than that. and has a little more tech going on, in my opinion. It's just interesting because all of these tall sport tourers seem to come in between $18,500 and $21,000 depending on the options. And they all seem to have very similar stuff going on. But it's like with the BMW, you sort of get everything the other ones have and more. You get the heated grips, you get the cruise control, you get the dynamic suspension, you get a bike that pretty much thinks for you, you get the quick shifter, you get the slipper clutch. I mean, this thing really is quite brilliant, and to get it all for the same price as the others with that kind of horsepower and that kind of top speed, I don't mean to be a cheerleader for this bike, but it's really hard to see why you wouldn't want one.
And engine braking is good. It definitely helps you stop for real on this thing. So you just hit your shock settings and you can change that. Hit your mode settings. It's in dynamic. Yeah, it's really an amazing bike.
And look, for the downforce, same thing you kind of see on the Versys. They have it on here as well. Same suspension travel as the Versys 1000, but a heck of a lot more horsepower. I had a Kawasaki Versys. You know, I've test ridden the GSX S1000 GX Suzuki. I've got an R1200. This is a different beast. And now here's that part of the review where my brutal honesty gets me in trouble every time. Here's the downside. Yes, this bike is packed full of tech. It is fast, it is gorgeous, it is stable, it is brilliant, but it will also break because it is finite. And oh, when that day comes, when the morning ceases, you will take this to a BMW dealer and you will pay BMW prices for it to get fixed. And that is something that cannot be helped. So, that's the downside. You will pay the BMW prices to fix this bike if you keep it for a long time, because every bike eventually will break. As I'm hitting 6th gear here and I'm getting around this truck, what I realized was 6th gear is not some pointless token overdrive. You know, usually I downshift to gain some speed, but I decided to hammer it in 6th just to see what happens, and you know, the nose came up a bit and it had plenty of juice. So this thing really is quite good even in 6th gear. So every gear kind of gives you plenty. I love having that quick shifter. That up and down makes it so easy to shift and so easy to deal with.
You know, this one I think starts at 18.5 on the low end, and the different stuff you can get as high as 22,000 bucks. I have to tell you though, it's worth it. This one is worth it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I love this bike. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, it's just so darn, everything's so tight. And yeah, there's tons of suspension play, and yeah, it feels good, and it's chewing up the bumps beautifully. You know, I'm not getting, at the same time, it's so twitchy good. Like, it's just, okay. I'm in love. And I'm going to cut to the part where I just go blather on for a while, but I have to tell you something, man. This is better than the V-Strom 1000. I mean, maybe not for going off too much, but if you're looking for a sport tourer that's tall, if you're looking for the long-legged sports tourer, you know, I like this better than the GSX S1000 GX. I don't even think that one you can get heated. Heated grips doesn't come on it. This comes with heated grips and cruise control. I think this has more standard features than all the other ones possibly put together. In terms of the tech that's on it, I mean, it's arguable. Now, people are going to say, oh, it's BMW. Well, let me tell you something about BMW. I know, BMW, everyone saw the Consumer Reports. I've had 2 BMWs in the 21 motorcycles I've had. This would make number 22 if I were to pull the trigger. I had an issue with my 06 K1200, but they worked those things out. My R1200 is 47,000 miles on and rolling, and it's been wonderful so far. This feels right to me. I would buy one of these for sure. The only thing, you know, the maintenance. Yes, the maintenance on BMW bikes can be a little pricey. Yes, it can. But you know what? The balance on this these really tight little corners. The balance on this is just stupidly good. All right, off you go. Turn off. Let's chat. Taking this whole thing in. There's your quick shifter. I like the fact that it's a chain drive. You have much less power loss with the chain. I like the fact that I'm getting all 170 horses, pretty much, with very minimal loss with the chain. The suspension felt soft, but tight. I don't know how to explain it. Cornering with it kind of feels good. Even with the 5.9 inches of suspension, when I did the hard braking, it really didn't dive very much. It more came down nice and evenly, and everything felt very controlled and very precise. So this, to me, even though it's taller like the Versys, and I had a Versys, this to me comes off way more poised than the Versys. The Versys sometimes felt so light in the front. You know, and I am wickedly rabid about my tire pressures being right. And the Versys felt weird in the front sometimes. It would feel light depending on the wind. I know that sounds crazy. And I would put my feet on these foot pegs that were right here to keep weight on that front wheel to plant it. That sounds crazy, but it's true. This doesn't have any of those issues at all. I don't know whether it's got a bigger motor and it's right in the front. It's got a beautiful center of gravity. I feel like I was on a sport bike that happened to be extremely comfortable. I felt like I was on my old Gixxer 1000, but more comfortable. Like, so this whole thing, the way your legs are under here, they thought this out so beautifully. I cannot even give them enough props for the genius and the beauty they put into this thing. You got twin rotors on the front, Brembos on both sides, steel braided brake lines. You do have a cable clutch, so no reservoir here. But you know what? It's a cable clutch, but it's very light. It's not hard at all. I could do this all day. In my last two, it just came standard. Here's your center stand. That is so awesome. Oh, I love BMWs. Now, I do a lot of my own maintenance, so it's not as expensive for me. But, you know, if you need the dealer to do your maintenance, that is a consideration. That is something you'll have to keep in mind about this bike, is that might be an issue if you happen to pay for that. Other than that, I'm in love. Absolute love. Can't think of one bad thing to say about it. I really can't. The mirrors could be a little bigger. There. But these didn't vibrate at all, even going in the mid-80s. No vibration. And everything felt very tight. Everything felt proper. Everything felt right. It never felt loosey-goosey, out of control. It was really good. Gosh, I want this bike so bad. I can't afford it right now. I just bought one, but oh, I want this so bad. If I could, this would be number 22. Honestly, number 22. That's my absolute honest opinion about this.
And that's my review of the BMW S1000 XR. It's so good. TG MotoRider, signing off.